Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you've all had a great lunch. I'm going to do a bit of a talk. So my talk is on the successful speculator, and my background, just quickly, is I'm an ex-New South Wales police officer. Don't hold that against me. During my time in the police, I was able to learn the stock market. I always thought the stock exchange around Bond Street was a bit dangerous, and eventually I learnt about speculation. When we went to 12-hour shifts, I'd get police to say, look, I'd say, give me the newspaper, I'd hand it back, and they'd say, here's 20 prices, and I started to work out the shift in behaviour. I did some study. I had far too much fun in the police service. These were the days where not every mobile phone was a camera. Obviously, I went long, half-price McDonald's, free leftovers, and I became pretty much unfit, but I did learn the stock market. I chucked all my possessions in my Commodore, and I moved to Perth, and I've been a stockbroker since 1998 in small-cap stocks. Now, the reason why I'm like that is I like the underdogs. I have this mentality of trying to look at things that change behaviour. So I'm looking for, it's a kind of the contrarian mindset, and it does normally does awfully for me in footy tipping, but I can proudly say that this year in the AFL I managed to win 2 tipping contests. So my contrarian mindset will always look for things that are about to change. So you're thinking, what's this guy doing up talking at a gold conference? I've dealt with thousands of people on the phone. I understand totally what fear, greed and stupidity is like. And I have a saying. It goes, fear is temporary, greed is perpetual, and human stupidity is infinite. And I live by that. I live by that mantra, because despite all the lessons in history, we still get it wrong. And I think that that's going to provide the opportunities, especially in gold stocks. And a great presentation from Hedley and Sean was showing that gold microcaps have underperformed by 69%. And I can honestly say that the last 3 years of my career, I've been doing this 26, have been like being sandpapered to death. That's how bad it's been. I've watched perfectly good companies lose 90% of their value for doing nothing wrong. And what happens is they're forced to raise money at lower prices. The stockbroker has to eat first, so the price is always lower, they get heaps of options, and normally people that would not get involved in these stocks suddenly have a chance. And a lot of the capital that's gone into these gold companies is looking for an exit the minute that stock's issued. And it's just been an S-bend of pain. Companies don't know what they have to do to get any interest. And I know that looking back through history, there's heaps of lessons. I say stuff that. I'm going to give you 4 stocks that I believe are 4 of the best on the junior resource market. And there's an old saying from the movie Wall Street, which I've seen many times, is you don't want to be 13th man on the deal team. So hopefully these 4 stocks are going to do okay. And next time I'm here, you're not going to throw shit at me. So, but the conferences, how good is the conference? There's always a gem that shows up. I went to Nicholas Reed's conference on Royal Pines, which is the vibe is just amazing. And I picked up a stock called Spartan, which was Gascoigne at the time. And they were 11 cents. And at the moment, they're about $1.40. And I was that excited about it. I looked at the valuation. I looked at the gold. I looked at their cash. I looked at their potential tax losses. And it was worth more than the bloody company. And there's always, you think, shit, is there a catch? Is what I'm seeing too good to be true? Well, the answer is no. That stock has essentially gone 13 to 14 times. Lesson for me is I didn't buy a single share. But I can't own everything. My clients did, so there's lots of happy clients out there. But I'll come to conferences. I'll see gems. I picked up Gold Road at 5 cents. That's done exceptionally well. You just got to get out and talk to the people at the conferences. As I say, there's no such thing as a stupid question. But through my going through the market for 26 years, I can honestly say I've seen it all, and I'm happy to provide some stocks here for you. So anyway, that's AI generated. It's scary stuff, isn't it? There's the disclaimer. Basically, I take no responsibility from what I'm about to say. I do not know your financial situation. What I'm going to try and provide is the honest truth as it comes out of my mouth. And again, that's not personal advice at all. So to me, this is what the market looks like at the moment. Good luck with that. That's what the bottom of the market looks like. And unfortunately, due to FOMO, that's what the top of the market looks like for many people. Good luck. I normally put up a magic mic slide for the ladies, but who cares? I didn't. I could not be bothered. That's life. All this woke shit it's just, I'm sick of it. So if I've offended anyone, you can leave. I don't care. I don't care. That I love that slide. And yeah, thank you.
Only at a gold conference.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, for a man, you've got to work out who can cook a friggin' roast and who can hold a conversation, and like any good gold bear market isn't going to take 80% of your friggin' money. So we all have. So what I've seen in my career is people chasing the pretty girls, so to speak, and it can only end in absolute tears. Now, I have a saying, anything ending in IUM. So that's as exotic as it gets. We've had uranium, scandium, lithium, niobium, antimony, no. But that's the big deal at the moment. And I have a saying, always, the next bubble is going to be Imodium. So anyway. So that's unfortunately what I've found out through dealing with thousands of people. I could see their number pop up and I'd know the question. And I came out of the New South Wales Police straight into the biggest, most manic bubble I've ever seen, which was .com. So this is where any mining company would go have a .com venture. They'd write out the announcement in the interests of creating shareholder value. We're looking at tech ventures. And some of the best people in the mining industry actually went .com, and I couldn't not believe it. And this was crazy times. I was earning twice my shitty police salary in a month. That's how crazy it was. We would be at work 2 hours after the market shut, matching orders with other seats operators. That was absolutely painful. The best thing the ASX bought in was a single price closing auction, which is the snap. So that's just, once the market shuts anywhere between 4:10 and 4:11, we could go home. But this was crazy times. And from what I saw, fortunes won, fortunes lost, I could only see less than a handful of people that could turn their trading habits around and not become gamblers. And I think that's the worst thing you can do in speculation. You might as well have the sports bet app out. And I think I'm dealing with a lot of people that are addicted to dopamine. It's a rush, but your whole mindset changes. I'm not ashamed to say this. I floated a company. My return was immense, and I let it turn to shit. Basically because when things are going well, your mindset is altered, and that's what a bull market does. And it's very hard to sell. And recently I've had clients in a biotech stock that had pretty much, I rang them up and said, you've won lotto. Sit down with your wife over the weekend and make a friggin' plan. And could I get them out of the stock? Hell no. So swing low, swing hard, but don't forget to sell. That's the main message. Anyway, that's my pastel slide. I will keep using that. I've got far too many war stories, but what I'm going to do is provide two examples of two clients. The first one, his name's Joe. Joe bought $7,000 worth of Northern Star. I think it was down to about 4.7 cents. Joe sold his stake in Northern Star for $1.2 million. And I actually remember the day I was in Dublin when money was plentiful. We followed the best band on earth, Pearl Jam, around Europe. I was in Dublin at the time. I got a phone call and they said, well, Northern Star now have to pay an extra $13 million for Paulson's. The stock fell to 4.7 cents. But Joe, throughout all of that, managed to hold on to the stock until he got out at $1.2 million. Fairly recently, I was selling a TV on Gumtree for $350. Joe, who lived in my suburb, came over and he said, stuff you, Locantro, I'll give you $300 for it. He then said, do you want anything for that TV? I said, no, that's just a small one. You can have it. He took it away. I had to help him load his car. And the next day, he phoned me and asked for the screws to the stand. So the moral of the story is, you can have a massive win like that, but it's not going to change you. If you're lazy, it's not going to change you. If you're a bit of a dickhead, it's not going to change you. So that's what I have to deal with. And this is the toughest game. You don't realise how tough it is on everyone. There's plenty of pressure on the companies presenting. There is plenty of pressure on those in the industry to succeed. But I think Joe is a classic example of my most successful client on a percentage basis due to the fact he's lazy. He's chilled, but let's face it, people, if you bought a stock at 5 cents, think about where you would have sold all the way to $15. My reckoning is you would have had to have been in prison without Wi-Fi or in a coma. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. And we can look at all these charts in hindsight and think, geez, that feels good. But buying a stock low, buying a lot of it and holding is very tough, very tough. And I guess we're in the time where social media, we have all the information available. You go onto a forum like Hot Copper and you'll come away scared. There's so many conspiracy theories about stocks, and I can assure all of you, most of them aren't true. And I have a saying, that the level of a shareholder's angst towards a company is what they paid for the stock. So if you paid 50 cents for a stock and it's trading at 20, you hate that company, you want all the directors sacked, you want them to take pay cuts, you want them to go out and promote the company more. But if you bought that share price and you're in profit, you're not going to have a bad word to say about them. And that's what we've had to deal with in this industry for the last 3 years. And it's, to be honest, it's been absolutely atrocious. But out of all this crap comes immense opportunity. Immense opportunity. And I don't know how many of you have been involved in a gold discovery, a big gold discovery. Well, yeah, they're exciting. I remember I just got back from Europe. I'm sitting there behind the screen and Ramilius comes out with 48 metres at 154 grams per tonne gold. I'd sat there buying the stock relentlessly for clients down to about 6 cents. This was the biggest intersection I've ever seen, and that stock managed to go 50 times eventually. And then what happened with Ramilius is they put a ring on it, they put a resource around it, and the stock went all the way back. And again, Ramilius got down to about 4.7 cents and proceeded to 50 bag again. So its opportunities in this market are certainly immense, and I think you've got to have some fun along the way. But one of the key things is just work out, are you a speculator, an accumulator, or a straight out gambler? And I know there's no such thing as a successful poker machine player. And that's just the way it is. And you need to know what people are going through. One of my other sayings is a market is a collective of people with no fucking idea what they're doing. And I must say, I also look at property markets. You guys are batshit crazy in Sydney. It's a strange thing that in the good old days you could buy a house at 3 to 4 times your income. Now you've got to pay 13 to 14 times. And just a little bit of a war story. I got stationed at Bondi Police Station, which was hard, and I was able to buy a 1-bedroom unit about 500 metres from the police station, and I could go down and have a surf before work, and I paid 2.4 times my police salary for that unit. That same unit now is trading at 12 times the average income. And if you don't tell me the world's gone batshit crazy, I don't know what has. So the way I see it, the easy money's been made in property. People have had themselves on TV trying to boast at an auction. It's like going to a charity event and you're that pissed, you end up paying 10 grand for something that you think's going straight to the pool room and you regret it. And that's the same thing that happens in speculative stocks, because when a sector's running, that sector is forever. And we know about lithium. Lithium's had a couple of cracks, right? But again, the EV thematic was forever, but stocks had got ahead of themselves. So I have another saying actually, that music always gets back to guitar, bass and drums. So again, between .com and the uranium bubble, there was 4 years of nothingness. So it's all going to get back to fundamentals. It's all going to get back to good quality companies. So anyway, I'm going to give you 4 of them. There you go. So I've researched a lot of companies, and I've been through a lot of stocks that have performed well for us. Some relationships have been terribly short term, not through no fault of my own. And actually, I had a relationship with one of the highest quality companies called Minotaur. And that relationship with that company outrun both of my marriages. So you've got to be in it for the long haul, people. So Minotaur Gold, actually they drilled into a prospect called, it was actually, no shit guys, it was called Uranus, pun intended. And that became Prominent Hill, and that became a major asset. And I remember that the day of that discovery, and you could have bought that stock all day for 28 cents. So I was a bit bored, so I rang David Harley from Gunson. I said, how close are you to this discovery? And he said a few hundred kilometres, and that stock went 8 times as well. So these projects are out there. There's going to be major discoveries. Who was in WA1? WA1? Oh, I see a couple of hands. So that stock listed at 20 cents. Quality company. Gary Lethbridge, I only found out in hindsight, was on the board. I think he was from Jubilee. They were drilling for another Prominent Hill in WA and guess what they hit? Niobium. Who the hell knew what niobium was? Suddenly, it's a buzz metal and everyone's heading to Brazil for niobium. So again, another exotic. I can't predict when the ammonium bubble is coming, but I don't think it's far off. So again, that stock, 20 cent IPO, down to about 12 or 13 cents. It peaked just under $22. Can you believe it? In no time. So again, prison, no Wi-Fi, in a coma, maybe your stock was held up due to a divorce, I don't know. But geez, this is the best game in town, people. This is so much fun. If you can do it right, you're going to do exceptionally well. So, Oryaman, small gold company, they've got 946,000 ounces at Sandstone. There's been a bit of corporate activity there between Brightstar and Alto Metals as well. He announced that they have the potential for direct shipping iron ore, which looks great. The market couldn't give a toss about this company at all. It's run by a guy called Brad Valukas, who I think is one of the best in the industry. Brad worked under Bill Beament at Northern Star and helped out with their gold operation in Alaska. The stock's trading at about 3.8 cents. It has come down from 30. They've done nothing wrong. They've struggled to raise money. And I think for a bit of a medium to longer term stock, guys, this is certainly worth a look. It's all there. They do have the potential to build a producing mine in Sandstone. And again, once you get one mine under operation, it can become a bit of a sausage factory. My second company is Saturn Metals. S for Sam, T for Tom, N for Nelly for the Wheel of Fortune amongst us. Saturn are presenting at 10 a.m. tomorrow. To me, around 18 to 19 cents. To me, this looks like an absolute friggin' ball terror. I've been getting clients to buy as much stock as they can of this. One to go back, pull up, I don't like to use historical charts too much, but pull up a chart of Capricorn, C for cat, M for Mary, M for Mike, and look at how a textbook gold company is created. And I'm sick of looking at these things in bloody hindsight and feeling good about it. No, stuff this. Let's buy it before the shit goes down, people. Anyway, Ian Bamborough will present tomorrow, and you'll understand why I'm so excited about that company. But again, buy it with money you don't need tomorrow. This stock will be boring, but the rewards are immense. And I think you've got to have some quality in your portfolio as well as some shit. So anyway, Maronan Metals. I think this is the best undeveloped silver deposit in Australia. I'll make that call. I must disclose that I was instrumental in the company. I have bought the stock for my 3 kids. And what they've got, it's about just under 400 million ounces silver equivalent in Cloncurry. But some of the best silver mines in the world are actually lead mines. So they've been coming up with exceptional results. The lead and silver is close to surface, and they also have a copper gold component. So you're pretty much getting 2 30 million tonne resources next to each other. So the code is M for Mary, M for Mike, A for Apple, and I believe Richard Carlton will be presenting tomorrow. And the big risk, I think the drilling's going so well, unfortunately the biggest risk with Maronan is to have them get taken out too early. There is a mine 90 kilometres as the crow flies, or about 135 clicks by road, that's called Cannington. And Cannington produces about 6% of the world's silver. And that mine is having a few little issues. So I just hope that the corporate greed out there can leave little Maronan alone long enough to become another war story. My last company for you is Red Metal. R for Roger, D for Dog, M for Mike. They own 44% of Maronan Metals, so that's in a good position on its own. They also have found a rare earths project which looks massive, only 20 kilometres from Mount Isa. And this is unique. This could be a world first, and we all know the rush for rare earths. Gina has made some investments, that's Gina Reinhardt, and she's also gone to Brazil. But I think Mount Isa has been through enough shit with all the copper smelting closures, and I think this is a prime asset, and for that reason, Red Metal is one of the strongest buys I've ever seen in the junior resource market. I must admit that we have had a long-term relationship which has also outdone both my former marriages. So that's Red Metal. And finally, from one of my favourite movies, you'll see there Andy Dufresne crawling his way through chocolate syrup. So what you have to do to get to that beach, to get somewhere with that bloody boat, is go through a lot of shit. You have to crawl through it. We all have to experience it. I'm right at the front line of what's going on in the market. I can pretty much say I've seen it all. I've seen it all. I've seen massive success stories. I've seen epic failures. But in the end, my other saying is it's all shit till it's cash. Thank you.